and welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. It's pretty cold today, so I want to try out my hot tent camp. It's going to be made with the Polish Firewood. I've had it a while. It's been water tested, it's been field tested in the wind, very high winds. I'm not keen on it myself. I think there's better out there. I think I can do better myself. But as a hot tent, I have my fire bucket with me, and now the chimney pieces have arrived. We're going to put them through the slot in the armhole and just create a little fire just to get it going, enough to see if it's nice and warm on the inside. I'll show you the kit in full. I'm going to need to make this when we get there. Squirrels everywhere. Now I've got here, and he's gone up this tree. I've seen a whole heap of them here. Nice to know that I won't go hungry if this is a location where I choose to come. Okay, bought my deployment bag with me. That holds everything I want. And I bought my bivvy jacket. It was a little too hot to walk in, if I'm honest with you, but I certainly would want to use it as a bivvy jacket. Leave a sleeping bag at home, I would, with this experiment. Just bring my bivvy suits with me. Right, give me a second, I'm just going to have a quick recce. Get this coat off, I'm really sweating. Okay, it's getting really hot now. It was a good walk in that. Okay, last time I was here, I found some logs, some twigs, something to get the fire going. And I've stored it up against a tree. I have a few batches around this perimeter where I have just piled up some logs against a tree. So if I do have to be out in an emergency, I'm not looking for them in the night, I know where they are. And I have little caches of these all around here. So I bought with me a little saw. Now usually I don't carry saws. I can break off an ideal piece in a Y of a tree, in a V, sorry, of a tree. I'll show you that in a second. So any crook of a tree like this, I can just put in the branch that I want to break and push it over, and that broke quite easily. Smaller piece, I think. Bit too big, that. There's some smaller pieces. It saves a mountain of sawing to do. That might be the right piece. That's not bad. Nice and dry. The ends are wet. That's where it's been propped up. It's actually a poncho shelter, if you don't know what a lavoo is. I'm sure everyone and their dog does by now know what one of these are. But there's a lot more cons than pros to this piece of kit, I can tell you that. So we'll have a look into more detail. I got the wrong bits with it. I got a wooden pole, didn't fit. They come in 3 different sizes, your lavoo. 140 centimetres, 160 and 180. So wrong poles for the wrong canvas there. My deployment bag there. I have a couple of walking poles this time from Robin's, because my back really is bad. I don't know if there's any more that can be done for it. I'm wrapped up like some kind of polar bear on this one, but although it's cold, here in the woodland. I'm hoping to get this camp a lot warmer with my Polish Lviv, or half tent, some people call it. I call it a poncho shelter. We'll have a look at everything now what I have in the pack, because the chimney pieces have arrived, and I have never been so excited to see a chimney in my life. I haven't used this pack for quite a bit. This isn't usually my overnight bag. I have a CCF mattress, couple of them, bit of insulation. I'm going to go with the grabber space blanket as the ground sheet. But here is the double half shelter, or Polish Lviv, and these are the sectional chimney stacks that can come with your stove if you want them as extras. I certainly would recommend that you have these, but not cheap. There's the Polish Lviv. I've had a nightmare with it. I want to just show you this setup, because we're going to lose a lot of light with that Lviv. I can tell you that right now. And here's my little handy fire bucket stove. There's a full episode on this if you don't know that much about it, but I've already prepped the inside of mine with some kindling and some cardboard to get it going, a little tin can just for further insulation, or to make a temporary stove jack on the sleeve. This was a microwave stand for your plate. You might recognise them, but if I put it over there like that, that makes an ideal little cooking area in the mornings, when all I have left over are the hot embers and ashes, to make a kind of barbecue situation there. Lid back on, chimney section on, and it doesn't freestand, so I'm going to have to find something to prop this up with. I'm going to take the camera back and so you can see. Pretty much as tall as me, but with me crouched down, this section here will be going out the armhole of the half shelter, leaving me with just this. Now I'm going to find a location to put this up. First I want to put up that Polish tent. Now last time I was here, I didn't remember cows being here, but there's dung everywhere, cow dung. How they'd even get into an area like this, I don't know. Here's the area I'm going to put this up, either here or there. It doesn't really matter, it's not an overnighter. Put my glasses into my jacket so I don't lose them. First of all, put the poncho shelter up. I'm going to clear quite a wide area here. It does give you quite a circumference of camp, this shelter, even with the pole in. Of course, another way of securing this would be to simply tie this up to a stick at about that height when we'll forgo the pole. But in this instance, I'm just going to use the pegs as it was intended. Like I said, I haven't got the scent pole for it, but I have got a walking stick, and that extends to 1.40 m, which I believe this version of the half tent or poncho tent is. I have the 1.40 m version. Now, I have had this up before, and it was in the rain, and boy did it stay wet. It was dry on the inside, it was absolute nightmare on the outside. Now, I have left one side of this configuration open so I can get in. Now I have the open side facing me now, so you'd see the back of this little half shelter. I'll start spreading this out and come back in a minute when it's a little more tidy. Okay, now it's time to install the little fire bucket with the lid on. 3 sectional pieces of chimney to come through the sleeve of the little Polish lavoo. Here's the sleeve there. Chimney section there, going through the sleeve. We've got a coat hanging up in the background there. And I'm going to light this up. Okay, that's the old stove inside. Just starting getting it going. Now inside this little fire bucket here, I pre-prepped quite a lot of small little twigs, as well as some larger ones there, just so when I get to camp I can start it up straight away, and the smoke coming out of the stack is quite clean. Well, that definitely needs a stove jack. It's warming that tent up so much. If it wasn't already fireproof, that'd be on fire by now, but it's nice and warm in there. Should have made myself a stove jack to keep some of the heat away from the fabric. Ah, dearie me, you live and learn. I was in this at the time. What a bugger. Mind you, I don't actually need the tent much for a hot tent. I just want it as a template, so I can use a much better fabric. Alright then. Luckily it's only cheap. Should have made a stove jack before testing this. Usually I like to test everything out before I film it, but to hell with it. Well, I'll have to tell you more about this particular my experience of the poncho shelter or Polish lavoo. I mean, I've buggered that one up now, but I only want it to use as a template. I have much better material, lighter material to make that from. It was a bit all hands on deck then, pulling everything out as quick as I could. And yet the heat came through the chimney section itself and started smouldering around the armhole of that little lavoo there. In the end, everything dragged out pretty quick. I didn't expect the canvas to go up quite as vigorously as it did. It's easy enough to put out though, you know. I had to collapse the whole tent and just start stamping on it. The fire bucket itself survived. Chimney's okay. With this experiment we'll go again, and I've got 2 ideas for a poncho shelter to make into something a lot bigger, a lot better, and maybe even rework some lighter fabric. So let's not worry about this particular one too much. Like I said, it is very, very cheap, and it's my fault. I should have got together a stove jack, and that's that bit goes over your chimney and protects it against the edge of the tent, and a little airway between. A big can would have done it, with some stones around it. That would have done it. Never mind, never mind. I saved my best coat anyway. Unbelievable. Haha, that's what's left of the camp. Anyway, the hot tent certainly turned out to be bloody hot. It wasn't going to be a big fire in the fire bucket anyway, so I didn't think it mattered, but it did matter. That chimney got a lot hotter than I ever thought it was going to be. It's not the end of the world.